So today we're going to be replacing one of the hydro pumps on a Scag V-Ride 52-inch. This specific unit has a Kawasaki engine. It's a K6000 serial number. Just like I said in my last video. I felt like I talked too much, so I'm going to try to keep this one much more concise. So this is my first time replacing one of these, so I'll be walking you through it. You'll be learning just like I am. So let's get started. So I have laid out here everything that you're going to need to complete this installation. First and foremost, you're going to need a new hydro pump unit. I got that from Sohar's RCPW. You're going to need a new oil filter. Going to be important to get some new oil in there after something like this has happened. Definitely some new oil, just some 20W30. I always keep that stuff in stock. You can see up there I have all my oil, an assortment of sockets, a ratchet, and maybe a few extensions, some flathead screwdrivers, an assortment of box end wrenches, and an impact or cordless wrench. I also should have mentioned that you're going to need a drain pan because you gotta drain the oil. So first thing you're gonna want to do is this right here. That's your drain plug. So you're gonna want to unscrew that, take it all the way off, and just let that oil drain out. Right, so we got that oil draining out of there. So while we're waiting for that to happen, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this bar off, and I'm gonna take this platform off too, just to get that out of the way, because we're gonna be working under here on that pulley. This is on the left side, is the one that needs replaced. So while that oil's draining, just pop these off. These should be 1/2-inch bolts or nuts. It looks like they are some what do you call them, carriage bolts, so no need for a wrench on the back. So zip those two off, zip these two off down here, and then that'll be out of the way. All right, so now that we have the platform off and this bar out of the way, the next thing that we're gonna wanna do is underneath of here, we need to take the belt off. So let's see if I can find it. Right there is the tensioner pulley. So this just takes a 3/8 ratchet, no socket, just the ratchet. You stick that in there, you crank on that to release it, and then you can pop off your belt in the back here on one of these hydro pulleys. You can see that we've got the belt off of there. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is this pulley on the underside here. There's these two bolts right here, and I believe they're either 3/8 or 7/16. You're gonna wanna take those out of there, and then on this smaller circular part that the bolts go through, there's a hole right here, and then there's another one on the other side, opposite the first one. So you're gonna take the bolts that you took out of here and put them back in here. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna thread in here, and then they're gonna push against the pulley, and this is tapered, so that'll allow the pulley to release, and it should just drop right off. All right, so here's a better look at what I was talking about down there. These bolts, these are the holes that you put them in to release. So if you take one of these out, these are the holes that they are usually in. So you can see this just slides through there, but it threads through there. So the ones that it threads through are the ones that pull it off. But got that off of there. This is the underside or the top side of the pulley. This would have been the top side of this tapered spacer. As you can see, they're just absolutely covered in oil. That's actually the reason that I'm replacing this hydro, is because the seal on the output shaft was clearly blown out. It was throwing oil all over the place, so called for a new pump. As you can see, pulley's off of there. Next thing we're gonna do is start taking off these hoses, the hose clamps first, and then the hoses second. On the back side here, we're gonna have to use wrenches to release these fittings. It's important to keep track of where everything goes.
With the back side, it's a little bit easier just because one of the hoses is longer than the other ones. These are the hoses that go down to your motor. One of these goes to the tank, and then the other one goes to, it looks like, the filter. So hose clamps, pipe fittings in the back. That's what's next. We've got this hose off, goes there. Got the other hose off. I'll have that down here. It was draining into the oil pan. And then we got these two back hoses off. So what's gonna happen next is we're gonna need to pop off this bolt right here. That's the arm that goes up to your controls. Once that is removed, then this pump should be ready to come out. I guess after these bolts are taken out, the ones that actually hold the pump down. So the one for the controls, then the ones for the pump that hold it to the frame. Well, we finally got the pump out. Got it over here on the bench. Here's the old pump. You can see where it was leaking real bad right out of that output shaft. This is upside down as opposed to how it'd be sitting in the mower. So while it's out here on the bench, we're gonna pop off all these fittings, swap them over to the new one. We're gonna wanna be really careful to make sure that all these are clean, free of debris when we're putting them on the new pump. If any of that gets in your pump, that's no good. So I wanna keep that out of the oil. Another thing that I probably should have mentioned is you're gonna wanna keep plenty of rags around on a project like this. There's gonna be a lot of oil, therefore there's gonna be a lot of oil that needs cleaned up. All the fittings are swapped over to the new pump. I put the old pump up here on the vise to get everything off. These little yellow plugs were in the ports on the new pump. An important thing to note is right there at the bottom, there are O-rings when you take these out. It's important to very carefully take those O-rings off and swap them over to the new fittings. Another important thing is on the shaft here, there's a keyway. So you need to take that key and swap it over to the new pump. But other than that, this pump's ready to go back in. New pump is in, and we're gonna go ahead and reattach all of the hoses. Reattach this lever over here, just to reverse the process of taking all the hoses and linkages are now reattached to the pump. Now we're gonna go ahead and get that pulley back on there, get that belt back on. Belt is back on, the pulley is back on. I recommend tightening up those bolts on the pulley after it's on. That way you have the belt to hold the pulley while you're tightening those. But hydro's all ready to go. Now we just need to put this bar back on, put our platform back on, and then we gotta work on getting our oil swapped. I'm probably gonna go ahead and put a new filter on it while it's all open like this. Just make sure you put some oil on the rubber ring on the filter. All right, got the cross brace back on, got the platform back on. Gotta fill it with oil now, and then we'll be all set. So the oil fill is right there. It's always best to refer to your owner's manual for things like this. So we're gonna go read about how to do that and get it done. Here is gonna be to put the mower up on jack stands and drive forwards and backwards for 2 minutes. I usually take out the stopwatch on my phone, go forward 5 seconds, backwards 5 seconds. That'll bleed the system. When you're filling the reservoir, you want to fill it to 2 1/4 inches below the top of it. So just use a tape measure, extend it out, dip it down in there, find out where it's touching the oil. You might need to use a siphon pump to pull some out of there in case you overfill it. I believe it took about 2 quarts of oil. Another thing too is I typically fill the filter with oil before I put it on there, let it all soak in there. It's upside down, so none of it's gonna spill out.
when you do that. So I'm gonna get this thing all washed up, double check it for leaks, and then I should be all set. So that completes the installation of a new hydro pump on a Scag V-Ride. Hey guys, if you found that video helpful at all, make sure you leave a like down below, drop a comment, let me know if there's anything else that you want to see, any questions that you might have, that sort of thing. I'm really looking to start to make more videos and grow my YouTube channel, so it would be a great help if you would hit the subscribe button to try to push that along a little bit further. At 100 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a free pair of AirPods Pro. You see a little bit too much light, but right there, some AirPods Pro. So not going to want to miss out on that. So to be entered to win those, all you got to do is like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below. So hope to see you in the next one.